You're listening to episode 111 of the D6 Podcast.
I don't know anything more important in our society or in the kingdom of God than to help the church, help the family.
Discipleship is not an event, it's a way of life.
And one day it just hit me that discipleship at home was not about doing more. It was about inviting Christ into what we were already doing.
The goal of family ministry is not families sitting on the couch holding hands and singing Kumbaya. The ultimate goal is families that love God, love people, and make disciples of all peoples.
So that's why you're here. You're here to say 1 hour a week, as significant and as awesome as it is, we know that it's not enough and we want to be intentional with every hour.
You're listening to the D6 Podcast. Here's your hosts, Ron Hunter and Jeremy Lee.
This is the family ministry podcast that helps you connect the church and home. And today, Ron, we're going to connect everybody with a whole bunch of resource ideas.
You know, people are always looking for resources, and everybody says theirs is great. And sometimes you just need a trusted person to help you cut through the mire of the marketing language.
Yes, and today we're going to be talking with Lena Wooten. She's on your team. How long has Lena been here?
Lena's been here about 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
And she's made a huge impact.
Absolutely.
I've been here for a good number of those years, and I've gotten to see Lena do her thing. And she has taken what y'all are doing to a whole nother level.
That's right.
But there's just a whole nother side to her. Most people may not know her and her husband. They run a family ministry in their own church. The super creative people. Their kids are amazing. They're amazing parents. We all get to see this close up, but I'm really glad we're going to get to share a little bit more of her with our listeners.
That's right. The truth is, the people who we get a chance to work with week in and week out, rub shoulders with, every one of them could be on staff. Many of them were on staff at churches prior to being at Randall House and D6 Family Ministries. And Lena is not only a person that has that professional knowledge, she has that insightful knowledge as a mom, as a wife. She has 2 kids herself, incredible mom. Her and Josh both are brilliant parents. And she loves her church, and she loves ministering, and she knows how to inspire people. So she's always out there looking and comparing, not only from a mom, a ministry leader, but also as our marketer, she has to be very familiar with what the landscape looks like for ministry tools. And so I just love the way you tackled this interview, and you're just like, Lena, you've looked at everything out there. You're always making the comparison because you're looking at how do you stack up? How do others? And she just brings it all to bear right here in this one interview.
And I think this is valid. This is one of the reasons why I show up and do this with you guys, because I love D6 because of your philosophy of cooperation trumps competition. And I think it's important to note as we got into this, because if I have a little bit of a skeptical side. So if I heard this, I'd be like, oh my gosh, we're about to enter into a 20-minute D6 commercial. I'll just skip this one and go to the next. I'm going to encourage people not to, because Lena does not just talk about D6 resources in this interview. We've asked her not to, and it wasn't a hard sell because she loves the resources from other places as well.
Well, that's our culture. I was just asked to do a short talk to about 30 other publishers. We were in a conference together, and there were all the other CEOs, and I was asked it was a very small group, and there were 3 or 4 of us that were asked to do the short talks, and the one I was asked to do is how do events help grow your organization? And I shared how D6 started, what are the key components to it, and I just had this little mind map, just visual of what it looks like. But then this big note I put out there on the side, I said, the secret sauce is we do not put our own speakers up there on the platform. We bring in speakers from all the different effective ministries out there, not only across the United States, but globally. And the secret sauce is not talking about yourself. And I think, again, that's part of our culture, and Lena exemplifies that here.
What would you say, before we jump in, is the key to, because resources is your world too.
Yeah.
And we only have so much money to pay for so much resources. What is a good factor of decision-making that we would need to have if we want to get a resource? what are some questions we could ask ourselves really quickly before we purchase the resource?
Yeah, the key questions for me in a resource is, how does it make church excellent? How does it make home excellent? Usually the matrix is all filtered through a church lens. So I would say, how does what you're teaching at church go beyond the church walls? So ask that question of any resource you're evaluating. What's the takeaway? Is there a link, a component of this that moms and dads can continue to use this throughout the week? Whether you're texting them with something, you're sending a PDF home, whether it's electronic or it's a handout physically, those are the items. And then the value proposition. People will pay whatever money if it's effective. The money's not the issue. We're not looking for cheap. We're looking for what works. And then cut through the marketing language, cut through the visuals. You want it to be aesthetically pleasing, but say, is this going to do something with the people using it over the next year, 2 years, 3 years? If I'm using this over and over, where will they be at the end of X period of time? That's the key question most people don't ask, because they think, oh, this works for a lesson today. But if we keep picking that lesson, let's say we pick 5 4-week lessons in a row, at the end of that, what have they learned as they prepare for the next season of life? That's the key questions.
You are so noble. I'm selfish. I'll look at a resource and say, how much time will it save me? How much, I'm a business owner. I own a couple of businesses, and so I have to constantly think how much value is an hour of my time. You know what?
Yeah.
I think ministers
They do think that
should
way.
say
Yes.
that same
Yes.
thing to themselves. And
Now, if I ask that question, I just promote D6 Leader Network, but you didn't ask me that question.
No, but very real. Like, if a resource that I'm going to purchase, if it saves me time, guess what that just gave me back? It gave me time to do the relational work of ministry, which no resource can do.
No, you're exactly right.
You can't publish anything that can help somebody build a stronger relationship. And I think ministers should be constantly fighting for more and more relational time. And that the best way to do that is through resources.
100% agree. Just don't toss out the content just for time.
Okay. All right. So, hey, speaking of time, we need to save some time for Lena. And also, speaking of time, it's important to make a note to you guys. We're transitioning into our summer format. Typically, we have 2 interviews per episode. And during the summer, it's a little more relaxing.
Yeah.
Ron likes to sit by the pool. He doesn't like to do interviews. It's just, y'all should see he's got his new bathing suit.
Bathing suit?
I don't know. I'm being silly and I need to stop. This is when I need to stop being funny.
This is where Kyle can edit.
This
is where
Kyle,
this is where
do not
engineer
edit.
will cut out.
Okay, let's. But no, in the summer we only do 1 interview per episode, and so that makes it easier for you guys to grab. We know you're busy as well. So Lena is our star of the show today. We'll be talking to her after the break. Before we head to break, though, summer is a time where we take lots of rest. But the one thing we don't want to take a rest on, obviously, is discipleship with our family. It's not a good time for discipleship to take a break. And we've got something that, as we talk about resources, I would like you to remind people, because not everybody knows about D6 devotional study guides, but that's the kind of thing you can take on a trip with you, and it's great reading material in the car, and it would spur on good conversations while you're traveling.
Absolutely. Churches often look and evaluate, what are they doing through the summer? More families travel through the summer, and the last thing you want is to dump discipleship. And so if you get the devotional study guides all through the summer, they're taken care of with insightful connections between each sibling and between mom and dad and grandparents. They're all studying the same biblical theme. And so even if, you're off in D.C. or Orlando or wherever you're, vacationing to, even grandparents say, hey, did you catch the devotion yesterday? We were reading about, this week was in the Psalms. So, we're reading the book of Psalms, and we're reading, all these fun, insightful areas. And mom and dad gets this honest connection so that when the kids mess up or they hurt each other, they could bring the lesson right back into play. And they're like, oh, hey, let's remember the grounding components here. Drive a tent stake in and go, hey, this is where our foundations are laid.
So we want to make sure you knew about that.
Yeah.
And we also want to make sure you enjoy this interview with Lena. Coming up right after the break, Lena Wooten is going to be giving us a ministry Resource Roundup.
Before you know it, everyone will be busy with vacations, camps, and VBS as summer starts. But that doesn't mean discipleship has to take a break. With D6 devotional study guides, discipleship can be taken with your families wherever they go this summer. The guides provide the perfect launchpad for parents to have key spiritual conversations with their children. These study guides are available for every age group and all focus on the same biblical passage or topic, making it easy for busy families to connect around Scripture. Discipleship doesn't have to take a summer break. D6 devotional study guides help families take discipleship with them wherever they go. Learn more at d6family.com.
And it's my buddy Lena. How are you doing?
Hey, Jeremy. Good to see you.
Lena Wooten is our guest, and she has been leading in children and family ministry for 13 years. That's too long. It's impossible that it's been that long.
It's been a long time.
How old were you when you started? That we can figure out your age. I'm just kidding.
5.
You don't have to say that. She and her husband Josh, who's awesome.
He is
I've
awesome.
interviewed him before. Ministered together at their church in Nash, Vegas, Tennessee.
That's right.
Go Titans.
Go Titans.
There
Go
you go.
Predators.
There we go.
Go Nashville Sound.
Lena also serves as the director of marketing for D6 Family. She doesn't just serve, she slays
Yeah.
as the marketing director of D6 Family. No, seriously, you do a great job.
Thank you.
I've gotten to see all behind the scenes, and it's a great process. I love the way you guys position yourselves in a way that is cooperative more than competitive.
Yeah.
And for example, we were talking about this earlier at the D6 conference. You've, in essence, invite your competitors to come hang out.
Absolutely. We believe that so many people have wonderful resources, and our hearts are really to equip the church and the home for generational discipleship, and we are not the only ones that are able to do that. God gifted a lot of resource providers, and we want them all to come and help share what God's doing.
Yeah, I just... It's one of the reasons why I'm here, because I respect that so much. But I want our theme for today to be Ministry Resource Roundup. Did you like that?
I like this.
I'd use ours. But here's the thing. I think resources are overwhelming because, especially in the age of the internet,
Oh, absolutely.
it's like they're everywhere. They're all over the place. And a minister could almost spend half their day shopping and looking at resources. So you wake up every day thinking about this full time. Not only does D6 create it, but you are, like we've already said, are working with other people who have resources. You know this world. So navigate it for us. Save us some time today, Miss Lena.
Sure.
All right?
Yeah.
So let's start with resources for children's ministers. What does D6 have to offer the Kidmin Nation? And then what are some resources outside of the D6 world that you just love and think we should check out?
Okay, yeah. So the first resource I'm going to talk about is our nursery curriculum. We have an entire year's worth of nursery curriculum. It's only $79, and I mean, that goes on sale a lot. But it is an entire year worth of nursery curriculum, and it comes with these precious little toys, these little object lessons that the babies can use in class,
really?
teachers can use with babies. And it's got take-home resources for parents. It's got posters, and it's phenomenal. So the nursery curriculum, check that out. The other thing
I've learned about that is, because I've learned this recently, in essence, if they buy that, they kind of covers the nursery, right? Because
That's right.
when you've got little babies and little ones like that, you can reuse that material over and over. It's not
over and over again, because those babies aren't going to be in there for more than a year, typically. I mean, some will be in there for a couple of years, but they're babies, and they learn through repetitiveness, so that's okay.
So my favorite thing about that is, $79 kind of covers a whole age range.
That's right.
That's pretty sweet.
That's right. So it's phenomenal nursery curriculum.
I just went used car salesman there for a second. For only $79, your
Yes.
babies are taken care of. Okay, give me more.
That's a good deal. The other thing I want to talk about is our Elements Kids Worship. So Elements Kids Worship is 52 weeks of completely downloadable curriculum for elementary age. And it's got a video component. It's got a parent podcast that's amazing that the teacher can send out to the parents.
Nice.
It's got little skits and games that go along with it. And that's just a phenomenal phenomenal resource as well. Again, it's affordable, it's easy to use, and it's completely downloadable.
It's kind of like an unsung hero. Like, not enough people know about it. That's why we're talking about it, because not enough know.
Yeah, it's used in large group settings. So definitely check out the Elements Kids Worship. It's wonderful.
Yes.
And then, of course, we have our D6 curriculum, which I'll go into a little bit later. But our D6 curriculum is awesome. It goes birth through grandparenting. So that's definitely a resource for the children's ministry.
Yes.
And we have a resource called Splink. Splink is a weekly email that you can sign up for. Splink stands for Spiritual Link. Splink.
See, you know what? That is my first time to hear that. I just thought y'all just came up with a random word.
Spiritual Link.
Nice.
And so that's an email that's sent out every Tuesday. Parents can sign up for the Splink at splink.com or d6family.com/Splink. So go check that out, and it's going to be little things that you can do with your children throughout the week. If you sign up for Splink, you're not going to get any other marketing from us. We're not going to bombard you with emails. It's just going to be that simple Splink that you're going to get every Tuesday for you to do with your children.
And Splink is S-P-L-I-N-K.
S-P-L-I-N-K. And then, of course, we have our devotional study guides that are phenomenal resources for children. Yeah, the devotional study guides, full color, they're award-winning, they're family aligned, so the entire family is doing a devotional together, and they're all age appropriate. So that's another phenomenal resource. And then outside of D6, of course, we've got books and things too, so check out the books. But Jim Weidman is just I call him a pioneer for children's ministry.
Yes.
He's a dear friend of mine, and I've gone through his Infuse program. He's written a couple of books. There's one called Beat the Clock. If you're in children's ministry or youth ministry and you're not organized, which can happen. You would know.
It's possible.
Some creative people might not be organized. He's got a book called Beat the Clock, and it really does help you organize your time. So that's good. He's got another book called Stretch that's preparing your ministry for growth. So check out any of the Jim Weidman books. I'm a fan of Yancey as well. She's got a little resource called Little Praise Party. Use it every Sunday. Yancey's Little Praise Party. I love it. We use it in our little Sunday school class. Yeah, love it. And then Seeds, and they're actually here at D6 this time. Seeds Worship has little scripture songs that are wonderful for children. So that's another great resource.
So now let's move to, thank you for the kid men resources,
Absolutely.
but now let's move to youth ministry resources.
Yeah.
What are some D6 resources that ministers would love, and then some non-D6 resources? Give us some. Give us what you got on that.
Sure. So some of our D6 resources, of course, is going to be our curriculum. We've got a fantastic curriculum for youth ministry. We also have several parenting books and youth ministry leadership books. We've got a new book that just came out called Teaching for Change. So be sure and check that out by Ken Coley. Excellent resource. We have this brand new resource that just came out by Dr. Richard Ross. You're going to love this. This is a parenting teens.
It looks so good.
It's like a brochure, and Dr. Richard Ross said, I want it to be the
Vanna
size.
Whiting right now. You're like, which camera should I show it to?
There's one. There's one. So he wanted it to be something you could put in your Bible, and parents could have it with them at all times. And if you look through this, it says, what is real success? What is my role? What does God say about parenting? And it's really a how-to and walk you through how to parent your teen. It's excellent.
If you want to know how to parent a teenager, you just
Boom.
there. It's right there.
That's exactly it.
This is how you parent a teenager, right there.
And it is front and back. It's very easy to use. Excellent resource. And the second thing he's come out with
these.
Yes, it's a parent checkup. So there's an edition for the dad and there's an edition for the mom. And when you look at it, it says once a day, guess how your teenager would answer today. And then the second thing is decide how you would want your teenager to answer a year from now. And so it's literally like a checkup. It's a personal checkup for the mom and dad to do. So
yeah, so I mean, just to make sure y'all get this, because I think this is incredibly creative in its format. It basically gives you quiz questions, and then it says, how do you think your child would answer the quiz?
That's right.
That is a really great way to help parents engage.
That's right. Yeah, and you can buy these in bulk for your church and so your youth pastor could buy these in bulk and then give them to the parents in their church and help disciple them. We also have a lot of parenting teens books, parenting teens specific books. We have Spiritual Apathy for Teens.
Yes, Rob Reno.
Yeah. We have Relentless Parenting that talks about pressing into your child's heart when you just want to scream at times.
Brian and Angela Haynes.
Brian and Angela Haynes' book, that's right. Brian Houseman has a book, How You Always Meant to Parent.
Yeah.
And also Tech Savvy Parenting.
And that's a big one, isn't it?
Oh, it's huge. Now, that would be for any kind of, it spans children, youth as well. So, yes, Tech Savvy Parenting is excellent. And then we also have one by Lenita Fix, and that's called The Beautiful Chaos of Parenting Teens. So those are just
It is
a
beautiful
few.
chaos, isn't it?
It is a
You
beautiful
have
chaos.
parented teens. Is it beautiful chaos?
It is beautiful chaos. Yes, both of those words. Both of those words, it is. So those are just a few of the resources.
I love it.
For parenting teens, yep. And then we also have, and I'm going to let you actually talk about this, Jeremy. You have a parenting website that's about parent ministry, right?
I do.
Yeah, you do. Parentministry.net.
Yes. Well,
yeah.
it's not. It's actually ministrytoparents.com. It's all
Sorry.
good. And yes, thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
We
it's
do have a
excellent.
ministry to parents. It's called Parent Ministry, and we give resources to churches. Not unlike what you guys do with D6 Leader Network. It's the same kind of format.
Right.
But it just has a different set of stuff that you can hand out. For me, this is my opinion.
Yeah.
People say, which one should I get? Should I get this resource, or this resource? And I think that's hilarious because they think they need one parent resource, but yet they'll go out and get 20 books for youth ministry.
That's right.
Well, hey, parent ministry is the same. Get all of it, is what I say.
Absolutely.
And just give it all to your parents and let them be happily overwhelmed with amazing information.
Yeah.
They may not read it all, but they can't say you didn't try to help them.
That's true. So it's
that's
not parentministry.net. It is not that.
It is not that.
It is
ministrytoparents.com. Thank you. Well, it used to be. That's why you're saying that. We used to do that, but we moved it over to a .com.
Okay,
a little bit stronger.
Great. .coms are strong. Absolutely. Very good. Thanks.
Speaking of that,
Yes.
I feel like you've been holding back. Now we can talk about curriculum. So
I like sleep and breathe it. No.
my co-host on the podcast, I don't know if you ever met him. His name is Ron Hunter. He loves to say that curriculum is the silent staff member.
The unseen.
Or excuse me, the unseen staff member.
The unseen staff member. That's correct.
So now explain to me what that concept means and then give us a walk through the D6 curriculum.
Sure. So an unseen staff member may be someone, or not. It's not a person. It is curriculum. And this curriculum, he always says they do not need an office. They don't have to have benefits. They disciple everyone, and they work hard for you. And they go across all ages. And so this unseen staff member would actually be the curriculum. That's what he is referring to. And in the book, The DNA of D6, he does an entire chapter on that. So be sure and check that out.
Okay, well, then let's talk about the unseen staff member that you guys offer, which is the D6 curriculum. Help us understand what are some of the uniquenesses. Because I know when I'm looking at a curriculum, I'm trying to figure out how is it different from some of the others, and what is the uniqueness? Because every curriculum is going to teach the Bible.
That's right.
But how do they teach the Bible, and what are some of the features that it offers that maybe others might not?
Sure. So the unique thing about D6 curriculum that I found, and I don't know of other curriculums doing this, but there might be, D6 gets every age on the same page. So birth through grandparenting it's family aligned learning. And so what D6 curriculum is doing is actually resourcing the parents outside of Sunday mornings. You know, we always say 1/168. You've seen that fraction. It's not enough. The 1 hour that they have in church is not enough. We really want to empower and resource the 167 hours of the week of the 1/168. So our curriculum, it's affordable, it's easy to use. Each quarter has comes with three different, what's the word I'm trying to say? 3 different categories. We do an Old Testament, a study of an Old Testament, New Testament, and a special topic.
Yeah.
And again, it's birth through grandparenting. We have devotional study guides. So whenever the parents come home on Sundays, they're going to go through the devotional study guide, and they're able to answer questions for the children. So those are just unique things about our curriculum that I'm not seeing in other curriculums, but maybe so.
And if I'm interested in it, can I get a piece of it without having to buy the whole thing?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you can go online and visit, d6family.com and go into our curriculum area, and you can download and try it for free and get a sample box. You can try it for free. Yeah. Go and see what those lessons are like and Definitely.
Okay, so all ministers need game ideas. You've told us about a game book, so I'm going to just fly past that one.
Yes.
How about resources that are specific to parents? That is a hot topic. People want to know how to partner with parents, and you have to know some good ones. So what do you guys have to offer for parents, and what are some other resources you'd recommend outside of D6?
Yeah, so some of our parenting books, again, The Relentless Parenting, How You Always Meant to Parent. We've got Tech Savvy Parenting. We have spent so much time in prayer and investing in these books and these authors, and they're just phenomenal resources, so definitely check those out. Of course, we've talked about Splink before. That's Resource in Parents. Again, the D6 Leader Network, so if you are a ministry leader, the D6 Leader Network is packed full of resources for you to look like the hero and give to your parents.
There's a parent toolbox in there that's almost like an embarrassment of riches. There's so many
amazing
topics.
It is.
Just about every topic you might come across, there's something you can attach to an email and send to a parent as a source of encouragement.
That's exactly right. That's right.
And the cool thing is D6 in that is committed to take your name off of it and allow the church to be seen as the source of that resource. It's not branded with D6 anywhere on those resources.
No, we want to really come alongside the ministers and help them with their job. We want to make awesome easy.
Oh, you know what? I'll never forget when
I know. We were together.
That's all, Lena.
We were together when we was like, what is this resource? What do we want to say about it? Like, what do we want to do? We want to make
awesome easy. There you go.
Exactly what I love it.
All right. So let's talk apps. Everybody wants to know about apps because it's quick and easy, and some of them are so powerful. What are some good ministry apps you could recommend?
Yeah, so one of them, there's actually an app for Dropbox, and I think that's so important because you're going to have lots of emails and things like that you want to organize, and people want to share larger files with you. Dropbox is a great one. Planning Center. Our youth and our children's ministry, we schedule through Planning Center. You can push out the schedule that way. You can send out text. I love those. And then, I'm trying to think of another app that I love.
Candy Crush. Just kidding.
No, I never got into any games. I'm not a gamer. But those are the two I would use the most. The Bible app. I use the Bible app.
No joke.
All the time.
Yes.
All the time. Absolutely. Yeah.
Somebody's really happy over there.
Somebody's having a
All right. I know we've got some great readers. We've already talked about the book, actually, so I'm going to skip that question. But before you go, we've talked a little bit about D6 Leader Network. I want you to, and we've talked about that parent toolbox. There's other features that are in it.
Yeah.
I just wish and hope that the people that are listening can grab a hold of D6 Leader Network. It's such a good resource.
Yeah, it is.
Not enough people are know enough about it. So give them a quick little tour.
Yeah, so the D6 Leader Network is going to give you content, coaching, and community throughout the entire year. We always get this question, how can I get the MP3s from the D6 conference? How can I get the videos? How can I get the replay of D6 days? It's all found in the D6 Leader Network. And not just that, but throughout the year, we're going to love on our members. We send them freebies, Easter eggs, as you call them, Easter eggs, little surprises that they get. And then when they're at the D6 conference, any member, they're going to get access to the Yellow Room or the D6 Leader Lounge. They're going to get to go in there and have coffee with some of our speakers and just get some special VIP treatments. And so it's just a great resource.
It's
definitely
really
worth
great.
it. Yeah.
Absolutely worth it. But you only open that every once in a while, so the people need to watch and pay attention to that.
That's right. We have an open cart and closed cart times. And so, yeah, be on the lookout for those.
You won't believe this, but our time is out already. Does time not fly when we're talking resources?
Yes, I just have so many floating around in my brain.
I'm telling you. Now, you guys need to know that Lena Wooten is the resource queen, so check her out if people want to connect with you. I know they can go to d6family.com. Where else can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Oh, on the interwebs. Just Google Lena.
Hey, and Snapchat.
Oh, Terrace Crawford snapped me during the interview. Thank you for not snapping me during our interview. I appreciate that.
I wish I would have thought of that. So.
Thank you, Lena Wooten, for being with us.
Thank you, Jeremy.
The DNA of D6 provides any church an opportunity to plan, strategize, evaluate, and refine their approach to discipleship and family ministry. Dr. Ron Hunter's book shares vital philosophy and strategy built on the foundation of Deuteronomy 6. Readers will be able to build on this foundation to disciple every generation in their church. Each book comes with a free church health assessment. Visit d6family.com to find helpful coaching sessions and resources, and order your copy today.
Good job on that, Jeremy. This was, wow, just loved it.
Well, Lena made it easy.
Well, you two are similar personalities. So if I can get the both of you in the room, I don't have to say a word. I just ask a question and listen to you guys.
Yeah, well,
I love it. I love it.
I'm not going to argue with that, but I'm going to tell you, I'm hoping people took a list of all the resources she mentioned. Probably right now, our listeners are not listening to us. They've got Windows open on their browser, and they're searching for all the resources. Hey, guys, spend wisely, okay? Don't spend all your ministry budget on the whole thing that she mentioned. Just choose wisely.
That's right.
Okay, we thank you guys so much for being here and being with us, and listening to the podcast. I say it every week, but I mean it, I promise. We are going to continue next week with
David Huey.
And I've got a fun story to tell you about this interview.
Ooh.
A little behind the scenes.
Very cool. Very cool.
All right. I'll tease it. We saw each other and we began to chant within the first 30 seconds.
Uh-oh.
We had a huge chant moment in the middle of D6 conference.
Look forward to hearing this.
Hey, we'll see you next week. We hope you guys have a great week of ministry.
You've been listening to the D6 Podcast. You can learn more about D6 at d6family.com. And if you're a minister, we invite you to join the D6 Leader Network by going to d6leader.net.